Hi, this video contains information about the verbal ability questions in the Accenture aptitude test. So, as you can see, there are 20 verbal questions that you need to solve in 20 minutes. So, in the previous year's paper, that is 2019, there are a few points to be noted. As you can see, there is no negative marking as such. Normally, Accenture conducts its test based on the CoCubes or AMCAT pattern. These are test prep companies. But in case they use the Meritrack pattern, then you will have the option to skip or answer a question later. Whereas in the other two, in terms of AMCAT or CoCubes, you cannot skip, you cannot go back to the previous question. But otherwise, the pattern of questions that's asked in all three of these patterns are, almost similar. All right. So it also says there is a sectional cutoff. So you need to concentrate on all three sections. What they mean by three sections is, one is quantitative aptitude, second is logical reasoning, and third is verbal ability. So these are the three split topics that you will encounter in the Accenture aptitude test. Let's go on to the next slide. As you can see, the syllabus is given mostly in terms of grammar and vocabulary. As you can see, you have some synonyms, antonyms. Contextual vocabulary is something that comes in a sentence, like a fill in the blank. Then of course you have the error identification, sentence improvement and construction. These are all topics that have already been practiced earlier, but we will have a look at a few of these questions in the coming slides. And of course you have reading comprehension. Okay, so this is one kind of question that is asked. So it's very simple. They have given the meaning of a word. It says very high spirited, full of cheerfulness or enthusiasm. As you can see, there are 4 choices given. The answer is also given along with the explanations. So in case you don't know a few words, of course using multiple choice test taking strategies, you can eliminate a few of these words in order to arrive at the final word. So it says the answer is D, which is ebullient, which is not a commonly used word. But then if you look at the other words, it's pretty easy to eliminate at least 2 more. For example, eccentric is a very common word which means crazy or deviating from the norm. And of course, sporting is showing sportsmanship, like being a sportsman, right? So obviously these two have nothing to do with cheerfulness or enthusiasm, so they can be eliminated. Eburnean is another word which relates to ivory, that is tusks of elephant, so that's got nothing to do, where ebullient is the one that suits the best in terms of the answer. Let's have a look at one more. So this is a double fill in the blank question. So it says, when her illness took a turn for the worse, the doctors took dash to dash the situation. Again, as you can see, they have given the answer as A, steps to ameliorate, because ameliorate means to improve. But then you must be wondering, why not C, where improve is given and it's a very simple word. But the problem is the first blank, doctors cannot take modes to improve the situation. That's the problem with C. Obviously B also doesn't fit the blanks, because you cannot better a situation, doesn't make sense. D also looks a little bit like improve, but then enhance is to amplify something. So you can take measures, but you cannot amplify a situation as such. So that's the reason A fits into the blank more suitably. Let's go to one more question. So this is an analogy question. It says routine is to unusual. Routine is something that you do on a usual basis. So obviously these are opposite words. Routine is to unusual are antonyms. So very simple answer. Illuminate is to darken is what they have given as the answer. Illuminate means to light something, that is, a room can be illuminated by switching on a tube light or some bulbs, whereas darken is just the opposite of that. So, that fits the analogy compared to routine is to unusual. Let us have a look at a para-jumble question next. So, here it says that you need to rearrange the sentences so it makes logical sense in terms of flow. So, as usual, you can see that the answer is D, but then the explanation goes this way. We start off with the generalized statement, says 1971 war changed the political geography of the subcontinent. And then you go for question, the point number 4, which says it also profoundly altered the geostrategic situation in Southeast Asia. So, it refers to the war, 1971 war. That is why it comes in the next logical flow order. And then you go to question, you go to point number 2, which says despite significance of the event, and then there has to be a comma over there, it's a typo error. There has been no serious book about the conflict. So, then finally what happens? Surrender at Dhaka aims to fill this gap. So, that is how you go about rearranging the sentences. Let us have a look at one more last slide in terms of Accenture. Spot the part that has the error in it. So, these are sentence errors. You need to find out which part of the sentence contains the error. So, it says each of the speakers whom I invited to participate in the debate has indicated their unwillingness because of the short notice. Now, it says over there that the answer is C. So, something wrong with indicated their unwillingness. Obviously, you can understand that there is wrongly placed. The pronoun is wrong over there, because the main subject is each of the speakers. Now, you need to remember, whenever you use each or every, even though speakers is plural, you are referring to each one of the persons. So, it is to be taken as third person singular. So, instead of there, you need to put his or her. I mean, universally you can put his, that is okay, it is understood. So, it changes to each of the speakers indicated his unwillingness. That is how you are supposed to go about answering these questions. So, these are some types of questions that come in the Accenture paper. I hope you have got an idea about what you can expect in the paper. Thanks for listening.